Hi Cancer, it's Raina. I want to introduce you to a new feature that I have, and they're called Abundance Tarot Readings. They're meant to be 4 times a year to represent each quarter of the financial year. This one will go until the end of March of this year, 2017, and they are designed just to give a little bit of food for thought. It's not so much predicting everything that's happening, although you guys are having a lunar eclipse in your second house of earned income. And this is happening on February 10th. So if you have planets that are close to 22 degrees of Leo, this will be particularly significant. If you don't, it may not affect you all that much. But it could kind of rearrange your finances if you have planets in that degree span, a few degrees within 22 Leo. But what my intention is for these readings is to kind of provoke people into, reflecting upon their attitudes towards manifesting abundance. And abundance is really a vague term, because for people that have nothing, they feel abundant if they have food in their stomach. They feel abundant if they have clothes on their back. So for those of us who live in industrialized countries, Western countries, where we tend to have more affluence, even the lowest income among us has a standard of living that's quite above many people around the world. And it can be hard to feel abundant when you live in a wealthy country and you feel that you're at the bottom of the totem pole. But you really have to cultivate that. And unfortunately, there are people out there who are very eager to tell you that you are poor, that you are low income. And when you feel disempowered in general in life, it can almost be tempting to kind of adopt that victim mentality, because there's like this misguided feeling that somehow you're going to gain respect or just sympathy. And maybe you will gain sympathy, but you know what? I don't want somebody to feel sorry for me, no matter what. I want to feel respected, not pitied. And that's the thing that people need to sort out, because I think there are certain people that prey on that tendency that some people have, and it helps to keep people down, because they really, it's so prevalent. And I actually have started your video several times, and I was talking about during the Great Depression, that in America, of course, during the late 20s and throughout the 30s, actually until World War II, to be exact, when a lot of people grew up and they raised children. Some of us were children of parents who lived through the Great Depression. And we had those ideas passed down to us about money and about, what can happen. And they're fear-based, because these children saw their parents suddenly not be able to provide for their families. And that is traumatizing, right? So people began to be more concerned with safety and predictability versus trying to have jobs or life paths that were really in alignment with their values as well as their passions. As long as people allow themselves to be influenced by the outer world, they will, be susceptible to anybody trying to, control them that way with fear-based messages. And actually, I have been attending Unity Church of Christianity for almost 30 years now, and that's kind of like a law of attraction type of a philosophy. And, they say thoughts are things. And One speaker, I don't know if it was the Reverend or just a guest speaker, said that there were people during the Great Depression who became rich. And that was because they didn't allow these, outer circumstances to dictate to them what was possible for them. So if you're hearing anything now, Cancer, and I know that some of you are very susceptible to that kind of thinking because you like to plan for the future. You like safety, and you want to ensure that it's going to continue in the future. If you understand that financial security is a myth, then you won't be fear-based, and you won't allow people to tell you what you can do. Because no one has, even banks, if you've seen what has happened, there have been runs on banks, even with all the safeguards. They can just decide, no, we're closed for the indefinite future. I think they did that in Greece. And there was a bank run even in America, I believe, where it was just like people didn't get their money for one day, and it didn't matter if it was FDIC insured. Just because it says that doesn't mean that they can't do something. And when you surrender, you don't worry about those possible scenarios. You know that the universe has your back and you're going to be taken care of. Okay? So, having said that, let me continue. And there you go. Self-sufficiency. Another Pentacles. And this is a spread that I created specifically for this reading, and I will tell you what each position means after the fact. After I've laid out all the cards. Okay. The first card in the upper center refers to your current financial state. And we're looking at the Nine of Pentacles. The number 9 is about solitude or independent living. And Pentacles relates to the actual money, career, that kind of thing. For some people, it might even be that you're working for yourself, but definitely that you are not, dependent on another person financially. And this is, I find this to be quite true. I think like a lot of even women, Cancerian women who have been traditional housewives, mothers, things of that nature, they always seem to have that financial independence at some point, that becomes important to them. I think it has to do with being a cardinal sign. I think cardinal signs really dislike any kind of dependency or having to be in a position to ask somebody else for their, I don't know, not that you have to ask somebody for anything, but just that autonomy is something that you guys really gravitate towards. And so this is a person who is also, it's not just getting by, it's somebody who's able to really take care of themselves too. So it's a card of financial abundance for sure. How did you get there? This is a card, 6 of Pentacles. Now remember, this is a general reading, so these cards can have multiple meanings depending on your particular situation. Obviously all Cancerians are not having the same experiences in life, but with the astrological transits, it will impact a group at the same time, although it may affect all of you in different ways. However, I feel that this card, for those that this card is really a literal representation of their lives, it could be that you received an inheritance or alimony, or it doesn't have to be that your ex-spouse is paying you every month. It could simply be that you split up your assets or whatever they do when they get divorced. There were a couple of cards that suggested divorce. So that may just be showing why you're alone. But even so, there is this feeling that it was handled in a fair way. So yeah, it's kind of like getting what's coming to you, getting what you deserve. And the higher message is the Hermit. It could be saying that you're spending a lot of time. See, this is the number 9 in the Major Arcana, and I just said that the status right now is the 9 of Pentacles. So it's a card of aloneness. Perhaps, you were married for a long time and you're finally on your own, and the higher message is that you need this time. You need to take some time away from a relationship in order to regroup. For those who are not, for those who the situation does not represent anything to do with divorce or anything like that, it could simply be that you decided to start your own business. And in the past, the issue of fairness may have come up with regards to pay, and it made you realize that you needed to go on your own. Maybe you were not getting compensated what you were worth, or what you felt you were worth, and so you were not willing to stay with that company any longer, and you went out on your own. The Hermit card in that context would be saying that you're searching your soul and that you need this time to be able to really know what it is that you want to do. During this quarter, this card that is represented by the Knight of Wands, I think that some of you Cancer people are going to be very uncharacteristically gutsy, that you may take chances, you may do new things in order to explore different avenues. You may, even, have the courage to venture out. You may have been a little bit reticent in the past, a little bit overly cautious. And this is a card of throwing caution to the wind in some way. Wands relate to fire energy. This particular card relates to Sagittarius. And interestingly, you do have Saturn in Sagittarius in the 6th house of work through the end of this year. So you are already under this influence, albeit because the planet is Saturn, it's not going to be as chaotic as this energy represents. But you're restructuring too, what you do for a living and how you do it. And so I think that this talks about taking risks, and you may just kind of be experimenting. It may not be that it's set in stone, but it's just maybe you're just trying out different things to see what sticks. What crosses you is the Justice card. So either if you are going through a divorce, that may threaten to suck your attention away from, or even resources away from what you're trying to accomplish. But it could be something that you feel has not been fair and it's affecting you in some way. Could be a person that is a Libra. If it's a personal relationship, then the person may be creating problems for you when you're trying to do all these other things. Maybe maybe it's an old relationship and they're trying to get back in your life or good graces. And you just want to be focused. Your card is the Chariot in the Major Arcana, which is about, being one-pointed. And yet you're very caring, and you may allow yourself to get manipulated by somebody who is trying to get back into your good graces. But if you still are on the job in some way, for some reason, you may feel like maybe you're in between the situations. Even though I got the Hermit card, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily working for yourself. You may just be keeping to yourself on the job, and yet you may feel that there's something very, very unfair going on where you're working, and you may even feel powerless to change it. So the reason that I bring up the challenge is just to let you know what could possibly be forces at work, so that you know in advance. It doesn't mean, as I say, I think it's foolish to use these cards and take them literally as predictive tools. I think they more likely show possibilities, okay? What is going to be coming in is the star, is represented by the Star card. And this is Aquarius, and this is your 8th house, okay? So as I said, around the time of that full moon that activates the 2nd and the 8th houses, there may be something very bright, something very nice to look forward to, or that's going to restore hope in your life. In general, this could be a time when you feel like you have this sense of optimism. It could be asking of you to, have faith, and even if you can't see that things are improving in your life, they are. But you have to kind of believe, and that is a challenge for some of you, because you may be wanting it to be too much of a guarantee. So you may be trying to control it too much, and that kind of impedes what's happening. It creates resistance. The outcome is a wonderful card altogether. The Ace of Wands is you just shooting off. Now, the end of this reading, we're in the sign of Aries. Aries happens to be your 10th house of career. So it's very good for anything new beginnings in your career. The new moon is going to be in your house of career on March 27th, okay? So this is kind of an extension of that, of new beginnings, and you're going to be full of energy, but also full of ideas, and, creativity, and I think that this is a very kind of an it's funny, I was going to say it's an active kind of a vibe to it, or it has one, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's closer to that new moon period at the end of March than it is starting off, because if you see that the Hermit card and the 9 of Pentacles, we have kind of withdrawn energy, somebody who is inside of themselves. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is very, very kind of outward projecting, forward moving. So let me pick a card from the Ascended Masters deck by Doreen Virtue and see if there's any other message we can tie to this reading and see what it says. Energy healing. Wow. Merlin. I'm going to, obviously I know sometimes I can just wing it, but I'm just curious what they say about, or what she says. It says that you could take a course in Reiki or pranic healing. clearing the space in your home so that, you can burn sage. This can be good just in general to attract things, clearing the energy in your home or your vehicle, your office. It's one thing they said is your experiences with energy healing may be so powerful that you decide to conduct healings as a profession. Being a water sign, Cancer, this could definitely be the case where you're a natural for this. You're very intuitive, and yes, you could do this for a living if that's something that has ever appealed to you. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. Just a little additional piece of advice. But definitely, I would say too, if you feel like you're very much fear-based and connected to survival, you might want to try a session for yourself of some sort of Reiki or other types of energy work, because they deal with imbalanced chakras. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to go to your general practitioner and say, I think my first chakra's out of whack. What do I do? They look at you like you have 3 heads. But if you ask a Reiki master, they would be, oh yeah, right, I'll go and check and see what's going on here. And that might kind of assist you in your consciousness and how you view, what makes you feel threatened, because it's a shame when people feel threatened when there's nothing wrong, but they're afraid, they worry too much about the future, because it's hard to live in the present when you're worried about the future, isn't it, Cancer? So anyway, good luck to you. If you'd like a private reading on career matters, love, or both, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a very abundant first quarter. Bye.